when someone else has success, you applaud them and you appreciate them and you cheer for them as if that success is your own. And you do it wholeheartedly. You're very sincere. And it is so fulfilling. When he first taught me that and my team at Alabama, that was the year we won the SEC for the first time in program history, made it to the Final Four. And that team really was Mudita and believed in Mudita.
We're joined by Sydney Japic, a soccer player for Alabama, SMU, internationally for multiple Bosnia national teams, and more importantly, a woman who values hard work, family, and faith. I'm excited to talk about Mudita, the 5 P's of performance, the transfer portal process, and your mindset. But first, you said you were the kid in 6th grade who ran the mile as fast as possible, dripping sweat, and you live by the quote, "Nobody who is doing more than you is going to talk down to you about doing a lot." Talk about your experience being a tryhard.
Wow, I've been a tryhard since day one. I never thought being a tryhard was a weird thing at all because that's what my entire family is. Like, we're just full of tryhards. And so I would say it was a big shocker, at least when you're younger. Like, kids are going to nitpick everything that you do. And so for me, I was like, well, I want to beat the boys. Like, I always grew up playing football with the boys at recess, doing all of that. And so my entire life was just wanting to win. And so we would have PE, and I was the kid who was like, I'm going to get a sub-6 mile. And everyone else is walking is like, what is wrong with you? And so I didn't understand why people weren't trying. It just, because I was around like-minded people so much with club soccer, with my family, I never really felt I'm doing too much or I should do less. I always felt like I wasn't doing enough. But I would definitely say when I got into high school and kind of like that middle school age, that kids started to call out like, that's really weird that you're trying hard. Like, why would you try? And so for me, I've always felt like just an outlier and different because I've always wanted to do more. I've been told that I do too much. If that's as who I am in friendships or with like relationships or everything else, like I feel like I put my best foot forward. And I think some people really view like being a tryhard and making yourself vulnerable as embarrassing. But for me, honestly, I think that's like my greatest strength. And I think it's really hard to be a tryhard. It's hard to show up every single day and give your best.
Yeah, and another thing you talked about, even from an early age, was coaches doubting you along your journey. Can you share one of those experiences?
There's been a lot. I've just never been a favorite player, and that really doesn't bother me. Show up, I do my job, I work hard, I keep my head down. I'm not the flashiest of players. If I need to do something extraordinary and I can do it, I'll do my best to do it. But I'm not the person who's going to be messy and dribble 5 people. But I would say the first time my coach doubted me was we finished a game and I guess I didn't play good. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And my coach, just in front of everybody after the game, was like, you should just quit now because you're never going to be good. And that was just so crazy to me. I sat there and I was like, oh, I don't like, why would you say that? But at the same time, that coach, he would pick a player every week or month and he would just get on them and say crazy things and just like make you feel bad. Like his tactic was to make you feel worse, to motivate you to be better. And so even though he told me those things, I just did everything out of spite after that. I obviously wanted his recognition and his acceptance and his applause. But at the same time, I was like, if you don't think I can do it, that's fine because I know I can do it. And so even though that's a hard thing to go through as a young kid, I feel like it's prepared me for the recruiting process, for college soccer, for club soccer and everything else where in just life where people are just going to tell you no.
He did you a huge favor and you didn't even realize it at the time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So he's doubted you. Another form of doubt is self-doubt, the lies that we tell ourselves.
Mhm.
What is a lie that your brain tells you? And what do you do to get back on track?
I think the biggest one, especially after my junior year of college, was this isn't worth it. All of the hard work, all of the tears, the sweat, the blood, everything that I've poured out, like this just isn't worth it. And it's really hard when you get to that point where your brain is telling you to deny something that you've loved your entire life. And just to get back on track, I started to realize, and my dad said this to me, that things don't disappoint, people do. So my loss of love for the game was not because I didn't like the game anymore. It was because the people in my area and the environment that I was in was making me not like it. And so even when I was still in that environment, I would just go out and train by myself and just juggle, get touches, do something to make me fall back in love with it and realize, okay, soccer is fun. I do enjoy this. I do have a good time. Just controlling the controllables, I think, has been a really big thing that I've had to accept in and out of soccer, where people are going to do things, they're going to say things, they're going to treat you a certain way, especially when it comes to sports. You might not get the playing time you want, but that doesn't define who you are as an athlete and especially who you are as a person. So to get myself back on track, I think the big thing was like for me to realize that I am bigger than who I am as a soccer player. Like who I am as a person is much greater than that, but also that I love the sport and I've put too much into it. And I can't deny the fact that I do love it. And so I think like going back to the basics and honestly treating it like the game that it is, like when I was as a kid, really helps like ground me and lets me hit that reset button to really just stabilize myself and kind of get back into the flow of things.
A lot of athletes fall into that identity crisis where they get so caught up in their sport, which you seem to have a very good perspective on. And it sounds like you've got a great support system with your family. I know you've mentioned your family on social media multiple times. Outside of your family, has there been a coach or mentor that really sticks out to you?
I would say someone who was there for me for a really long time was my strength coach that I met in Texas. His name is Jay. Jay has two younger daughters who play tennis and soccer. So I would train them when it came to soccer. I'd babysit them. So they honestly became like a really good family to me. But when I was at Alabama going through a hard time, I would text him and be like, I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know if this is worth it. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm so frustrated. And having him as a resource, he would allow me to call him and text him, and he would still watch the games and he would just give me insight. And I think the greatest gift that he gave me was not pity of, "Oh, you're in a hard situation. It's not your fault." He was just always told me, like, okay, what's next? You can either sit here and complain or you can keep working hard and you know who you are and you make a decision when the season's over, but right now, you can't feel sorry for yourself. Yes, it sucks and you can understand that and you can go through those emotions, but at the same time, like, you're stronger than this. You got to get up and keep working.
Another mindset shift that I want to ask you about. You said the greatest piece of advice you received as a college athlete was Mudita. Alabama, Pat Murphy, softball coach. Can you explain what it is and why it's such great advice?
So, shout out Patrick Murphy. I love that man. He is like the coolest person ever. I love him. Like he's really an idol to me. But Mudita is pretty much when someone else has success, you applaud them and you appreciate them and you cheer for them as if that success is your own. And you do it wholeheartedly. You do it with like you're very sincere and it is so fulfilling. And I think it's a huge thing that I mean, when he first taught me that and my team at Alabama that was the year we won the SEC for the first time in program history, made it to the Final Four, and that team really was Mudita and believed in Mudita. And I would say like Mudita only really works if you truly believe it. And I think it also ties into no one who's doing better than you is going to talk down on you or try to humble you. Because if you have that confidence in yourself and you have that belief in yourself, what someone else does has no relativity to you. Just because your teammate goes and scores a goal doesn't take away from the fact that you're a good player. Just because someone else is starting and you're not doesn't mean you're not a good player. That's just the situation that you're in. And life isn't always going to be perfect. And so for me, I did go through those hard times at Alabama. I broke my hand my freshman year and I was out for most of the season. And I had to sit there and make a decision. Am I going to bring the team down by feeling sorry for myself and being upset? Or can I go and be the loudest person on the bench and be obnoxious and cheer for everybody like I'm out there? Because at the same time, like when you're on a team, even if you're not on the field, you are, because you've been in the trainings to make your teammates better and you've been in those environments and you've been in the film room and you've taught your teammates new things and gave them different looks where even if you might not be physically on the field, you can still cheer for them and have Mudita and have that appreciation as if you are, because you really are. Being on a team, everyone is in everybody. Every aspect of someone, you teach someone something new. and you show them different things or you push them to a new limit where that all shows as one when you're on the field.
And Mudita is definitely one of those things that's difficult to quantify, but you can feel it when you're in it. Can you talk about your transition from high school to Alabama and the SEC?
SEC soccer is something else. Even now, being in the ACC, I go and I watch sometimes, like during the SEC season, they play, and it's intense, it's physical. A saying that I always had with my dad is since high school, practice hard so the game is easy. And so, thankfully, having my older sister play at Baylor and then at UVA before I even got to college, she kind of explained to me and gave me insight on how different the college game is from high school. So, I feel that I was more prepared than other people, but at the same time, there's shocks that you don't expect and you can't expect, like lifting in the summer and conditioning in the summer. I've never ran to the point where my legs were cramping and I thought I was going to throw up. And then you get to college and that's your first workout in the summer and you're like, what have I signed up for? What am I doing here? And so that, and then also the amount of people who care and the amount of people who are try hard and who are going to hold you accountable. Our starting goalkeeper that year, I remember got on people who were like leaving the line early when we were doing conditioning, like turned and just yelled at them and was like, you're like, don't like be accountable. Don't leave the line early. And that's obviously something you don't experience in high school or club soccer because everyone's kind of there. If you're on a good team, like you don't really have to try. There's such a disparity. But when you get to college, everyone wants to win, especially when you're on a team that has that mindset. And then there's the physicality of it and the speed of play. Girls play so fast and they see the game different. And I think now being a senior looking back, that the age and the experience that you have in college makes such a difference. When you go in as a freshman, there's so much that you don't even realize that you're missing. And so that was just like the speed of play and then how to adapt to like different players. When you're in club soccer, you don't do scout, you don't try to like play a team differently. You just go out there and play. Where in college, you're in the top 1% now, where everyone was the best on their club team. And now you have to do more research and apply yourself more to the game to be the best if you want to be.
Hey, quick pause. If this conversation is providing you value, please take literally 5 seconds and hit that follow or subscribe button on your app. This is the best way to make sure that you don't miss any value from future episodes. Now back to the conversation. So you go from Alabama, and this is why people connect with you online. You were vulnerable and authentic, posting a video about transferring away from Alabama. Can you take us to that moment and what was going through your mind?
There was multiple. I would say the biggest one that still makes me laugh to this day is I was just finished my last official visit. I was leaving the next day when I was in the portal, and it really hit me that I was transferring. And so I was just crying on the internet. I'm like, this is like whoever thinks that transferring is easy, it's not. I specifically remember I said, go to a school that you love the first time so you don't have to transfer. And then I was like, wait, actually don't do that because I did that and I'm still transferring. So it was hard. No one goes to a school for their first year not loving the school. And especially going 3 years at a college, no one stays for that long just because. Like I truly had a deep love and I still do a connection to Alabama. So entering the portal and having that hit of like, this is kind of scary. My life is going to flip upside down. I could go somewhere and it not work out. Or like, I want to make the right decision. Or what if it was going to be better, and always playing the what if game. And so I think it was all of those emotions kind of built up to that moment of making that TikTok. Alabama wasn't just me showing up and being a soccer player. I had a great connection with others, like every other student athlete. I don't think I could walk into a room and not know somebody. Just people who worked around the facilities, if it was like academic advisors, athletic advisors, even our AD. Like I had such respect for everybody. And I also had a little bit of like, not regret, but I felt that I was letting people down at Alabama, that I felt like I bought in so much and that me leaving, that I was doing a disservice to everybody. And so that was something that really just came to the forefront in that moment. But I had a lot of support, and I know a bunch of people who have transferred, and I knew it was the right decision, but the right decision isn't always easy. And so I know other people have experienced this, and I'm like, I don't really care what people think of me. I don't really think social media is real anyways. I forget that people can actually see my videos. And if I can be a support system to someone else to maybe not let them feel like they're the black sheep and that they're an outlier and that it's so easy for everyone else, because everyone does post the day of my life and I'm going to make a TikTok dancing video in my uniform and this is what this award I won, and it's everyone only shows the best of them on social media. And so for me, I'm like, I would much rather be myself and show what I'm truly feeling if that makes someone else comfortable and maybe me suffer a little bit of embarrassment than unintentionally put someone down because I'm acting like it's all sunshine and rainbows when it's really not.
One thing that I saw from your social media that was so impressive in relation to this is you were talking about the transfer portal process, and you were like, if there's anyone else out there going through this process, I love you and I'm supportive of you, which I think is exactly to your point, not just showing your best stuff, but the vulnerability. I'm gonna go back to the field here. You say be a goldfish and you yell at yourself, your first and middle name, Sydney Grace, or you clap to reset. How does that stop your mental spiral?
For me, it's always been, at least like at my games when I'm younger, or Sydney Grace comes actually from my mom because if I do something that I'm not supposed to be doing, she goes, Sydney Grace. And my spine, I kind of sit up a little bit straighter. And same thing with my dad. Like if I'm doing something on the field that he realizes like, he's yelled at me. There was one time, I think in my last home game here, he yelled hard when he knows like that's just one word that he picks that is like pick it up and wake up. And so for me, just kind of trying to do that what my parents did because I'm so used to that, or clapping my hands with something that an older girl that I looked up to always did when she made a mistake. And so for me, it's just a physical thing that I can like be like, okay, it's out, move on, instead of like sitting there and dwelling about it because it's like, okay, next play. And like you said, be a goldfish. And so that's just something for me that works. And I feel like it also allows me to stay in the game. I think some people, when I do that, they take it as me getting down on myself, but that's just a reset button as like I'm acknowledging that I messed up, but so be it. Like just clap and move on. And I think that's just like the easiest thing because no one really cares about the mistakes you make. Like my dad always says to me, Messi makes mistakes, Ronaldo makes mistakes, but it's what do you do afterwards? Are you going to put your head down and sulk? Or are you going to go get the ball back and you're going to do everything you can to win it again? I always think it's about what's next. And so that is like, okay, intermission, let's go, next play.
So this past season, I'm sure you experienced a lot of those moments. You played every game and 1,594 minutes. How did you mentally stay focused all of that time?
For me, being a center back, I have to communicate with everybody. I think that's a big part of my game that got me recruited here and that coaches have really liked. So I know my role on the field is to not only help myself, but I have to be so in tune to help other people in because I'm the last line of defense and communicate with other people and make sure that I'm doing the best that I can to help my team to win. And I think communicating with others also allows me to remember what I need to do. If I yell, check your shoulder, I tell people I'm not just yelling, check your shoulder at you. I say, check your shoulder. So then I go, oh, shoot, I need to check my shoulder. Again, your coach can't tell you everything from all the way across the field from the sideline. So using my teammates almost to communicate to myself and to them at the same time is something that has allowed me to stay focused. But also, I don't know, when I get in the game, it's just everything else shuts out. Even when I finish the game, I can stand there, I'm like, I have no idea what just happened for the last 90 minutes. I think I get so focused and I don't let any other distractions happen where I always try to stay loose before the game. Like I listen to music, I dance, I have fun because I realize if I'm too serious, then I start to overthink. And for me, I've prepared so much in my life and I've worked so hard and I've done everything possible to that moment that there's nothing else that I need to do but play. How I train and practice is how I expect myself to perform in the game. So it's not like I'm stepping onto the field and it's something new and then I'm overthinking everything and then I'm thinking, oh shoot, what is my coach thinking? What are people in the stands thinking? It just allows me to have confidence in myself to say, I'm just going to go out here, do everything I can, and that's it.
As a college athlete, there's a lot of things that can knock you off track, both on and off the field. You talk about your why being your family, God, and the little girl inside of you. Why is it so important to have a strong why?
In life, and it's especially in sports, there are going to be things that knock you off track. If it's a coach, if it's an injury, if it's outside people saying things, like, it could be your teammates. There's a lot of other factors. And at the end of the day, it is just a game. And it's such a crazy thing to say, especially for me to say, because it is my entire life. But at the same time, like it is going to end one day. So if you're doing something and dedicating so much of your time and energy and effort, there's a reason why you're doing it. People don't show up and do conditioning and do weights and spend all this time when they could be sleeping in their bed for no reason. And so for me, that love of the game, and especially for my parents and God, like God overall has just blessed me with my family, and he's given me this love for the game, and I can't thank him enough for it. And so just praying before every game and realizing that I play to show my love for him and my value for him, I think is a really big thing that I do. And also for just giving me my parents. When I posted on Instagram when I'm done with college soccer, the reason why I play is because getting to call them before the game or getting to look up into the stands and seeing them hold their hearts up for me and just waving, like I do everything because of my parents, because of how they raised me, who they are as people, and everything that they've gone through. Just me doing anything possible to show them how much I love them and to make them proud is such a big thing for me. And then the same thing with the little girl inside me. Back when you're younger, you just play to play. And I know that she's wanted everything that I have now is everything that I wanted when I was younger when it came to soccer. I'm here right now because of that little girl, because she showed up and put in the extra work and showed up when people told her no and when people said she wasn't going to be good enough. And so for me to show up on any given day and not give my 100% would be a disservice to her, not just to me. Like me in this moment I have not done anything to get here. It's all been the younger me leading up to it and my family and God. So they keep me grounded, and I can't even explain enough how thankful I am for all of it.
Your parents raised you on the 5 Ps. Can you share what they are and how they've helped you?
Proper planning prevents poor performance. It just has instilled so much confidence in me and has instilled like a work ethic in me, because if you plan properly, and it usually was honestly for tests for school, where my dad, I'd be like, oh, I don't know how I'm feeling about this test. He's like, did you do everything you can? Did you study? Do you know the material? Because if you've done everything you can, then now you're ready to perform. You can't expect, again, you can't go into training and laugh and do cartwheels and joke around and then expect that you're now going to play the number one team in the country and show up and have your Michael Jordan game. That's not how it works. And so for me in life and in soccer, that's just how I do anything is how I do everything. And I've really taken that personally, where I do everything that I can to put myself in the best situation, even in situations that I've never been in, but knowing that they could possibly arise and come up, that I would be prepared for that moment. And then through that, all I know now is I just show up and I play, because I know I've done everything possible. And if the game goes a different way, if a ref makes a call, if another girl's just better, I can be proud of myself and walk off the field knowing that I did everything to be ready in that moment and I gave it my all.
Looking back at your college career, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first got started?
I would say I wish I knew how much people poured into you with their yelling and their care and their advice really means something, and that you shouldn't take it lightly. Because I know I've seen coaches, I've had coaches who don't care, who, if you are not of value to them, they throw you over their shoulder and they're like, I could use her when I need her. Or there's teammates who it's just all about them. And there's so many people, especially you can learn from the people who don't ever touch the field, that I've learned the most from teammates who have shown up every single day and given 100% in practice. And they know that when it comes game time, they probably won't step on the field. So being appreciative of every single moment and opportunity that you have and not to take it lightly.
Sydney, the idea of simple wins is not only the scoreboard. What do you consider simple wins in your life?
Waking up every day, just getting to wake up and have the opportunity that I have a healthy body that allows me to play the sport that I do, and I have a family who loves me, and I live in Dallas, Texas, and I get to play Division 1 soccer in the ACC. Waking up to that every single morning, it could be a rainy day, and I'm like, wow. I'm living so many girls' dreams right now, and I don't even realize. Like, just getting to wake up and have the opportunity to have a hard day or to have a good day or to have something go right or wrong, just the ability to wake up and be who I am in the moment, I think is something that people take for granted a lot. And just my sister tore her ACL when we were playing her in her 6th year of college soccer, when her life gets flipped upside down because she doesn't know now like when she's going to be ready to go play pro. And I think that put life in perspective for me in the game of soccer, that I then played every single game and showed up to every single practice for her, because the ability that I just have to wake up and feel soreness and feel pain, but still get to play is something that I shouldn't be complaining about, that I should honestly just be thankful for.
Sydney, you have a very impressive mindset and a good heart. Where can people find more of you?
You can find me. It's my first and last name. So Sydney, Sydney, and then last name Japic on, that's my Instagram handle, my TikTok handle. I usually post all of my soccer advice videos, workout videos on TikTok, but I try to be my authentic self and just share my life with everybody. And so hopefully if you go check me out, that you can maybe learn something and I can help you along your journey.
Sydney, we appreciate all your wisdom that you've shared here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, Sam.
I have one final question for you. Who else would benefit from listening to this conversation? If you have someone in mind, go ahead and share the episode with them right now. If you don't think of anyone immediately, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever platform you're on so people just like you can find the episode. Thank you for your time. Stay strong.